Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I had such an insightful interview this morning, and since I'm already, it's not as if I had the interview like this now, but now that I'm actually up and everything, up and grateful, Lord, now I'm able to discuss things in a bit more detail. I feel like the stress, like the concept of stress, I feel like in a previous video I was talking about burnout. I don't think I even posted the video because I don't know, there was just nothing moving me to post that one. But that this one specifically, it's always when I'm wearing this hoodie that I just get the revelations to talk. Anyway, in so for this video, after the interview and everything, I think I want to talk about professions and career. First of all, I don't talk about my major, I don't talk about what I study, I don't really post about it at all, don't really talk about it ever. Because over my 4 years of school, I have gone through a change in like future endeavors. Do you understand? Like my passion has definitely changed. I think there's also something very irresponsible about allowing like late teenagers to pick something for the rest of their lives, and you also have to understand that your interests can change, things can change. I don't want it to be. That's why I'm so grateful I didn't do something as heavily tasking like med school, to the point where after I finish, I'll not be having the regrets. Not to say I have any regrets now, but I'm just like, there are things that I would have done differently in first year, which is something that, which is in, and there's such a common saying, lots of people will say, oh, I wish I did this in first year. And some people's regrets are bigger. Me, I did everything possible in my 4 years. Like me, I have definitely been outside and also being inside in terms of like studying and like finding my own identity as a student. And now that I'm a fourth year, trying to see like my identity outside of being a student anyway. So to say the least, I am currently a film production major in my fourth year, and a film production major is someone who, obviously, you know what a filmmaker is. But now the program kind of encapsulates different aspects of it, and to say whether it's good or bad, it really depends on how much you gain from it and how much you are willing to put into the program, or how much you're willing to receive from it. Because I'm telling you, like, the resources are there, networking is there. However, I'm not going to go on this whole long rant of saying why I hate a program or whatever like this. But filmmaking, the process of sitting down for hours and shooting and then this and that gruesome long process can be satisfying when the film is good. You get your accolades and everything. But again, if you're starting off in first hand as a student, there's really not much payoff. I'm so glad that our school has like a very equipped equipment room with a lot of newer equipment and tech and all these things that can aid in filmmaking, especially if you don't have your own um devices and materials. Is a good thing for free, as long as you're responsible with it as well, because if you break anything, obviously you're going to pay it back. Hello. So regardless, I've done 4 years of this, and I've reached out to different people, worked with different people, some good, some bad, obviously. Then that's just how life is, and understanding people's working styles and all that. Now, I think like now towards this end, because I mean the semester ends in April, and it's currently March. There's a lot of pressure of like, oh, what am I going to do afterwards? What am I going to do afterwards? I feel like I'm one of the people that have now been dead centered of what I wanted to do afterwards. And it does relate to film, it does relate to this, it does relate to that. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you what my life plan is. Like, let it happen first, then I'll give you the whole gist. But at least with me, I kind of want to plan ahead in the best. I'm so in the middle of type A and type B. Type A of like someone that's like logistics and planning. Like if I'm going out with someone, I need to know what's going on, what are we eating, what are we going to. And then at the same time, I'm someone that's so laid back. I'm like, okay, if you want to go out, this let's go, like, impromptu side quest. I'm literally split in the middle. So now for a big decision like a career, your career can change. I'm telling you, whatever can change. I want you to maximize your use of going into a post secondary institution such as university or college. I feel like it's really important of who you meet and it's the stepping stone of your career afterwards. Oh, I met someone who's like a very capable sound mixer or something like that. I'm now making something in the future. And I'm like, I remember this person in school I went to school with. Oh my gosh, you guys still have Instagrams or whatever. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, yes. And you're in the partnership. It wasn't, you just thought about it. I think I was going to talk about different things, then I'm not going to. So, in terms of like looking at the future, I've definitely seen myself as someone who's like very, like, okay, like big pictures, big things, but I never had a clear vision of what that actually looks like having the, well, there was this kind of, it's not even weird, I think like a lot of young kids had that, but like um that whole actor musician pipeline thing of like I want the thing, and then, not to even say that that's still not possible, but I'm like, at this stage, I don't know how moved I am to that. But maybe, do you know, maybe there's another reason why I picked film production. I already knew that I wasn't going to be someone that like fully lived in the office and doing like this and that. However, now, I mean, the mindset of like understanding what the film industry actually looks like, it's fully freelance work. Fully. You don't know when your next gig is. It's highly dependent on the people you know and the work you can find and this and that. And also experience and age and all these things. There's a lot of things that go on there. And that's such a risky life. It's such a risky life in this economy that we have. Because if you were telling me that in Toronto, rent is up to, like, for a single room, it's between 1,800 to 3,200 Canadian, of course, is not something I'm going to be playing up and down in, where my income is going to come from. Especially if there are things that are not guaranteed to be paid sequentially. So that whole mindset of like, oh, I don't want a corporate job and all these things and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm actually also looking at the corporate job themselves that offer that stability, and people are getting laid off left and right. The same computer science majors that they were saying that they were bigger than everybody. Look at them. Sorry, I know that but I'm just like, even that whole um disregard for the arts and how it's completely underfunded and this and that. There's no stability in the arts as a whole. Of like, people who are getting massive amounts of wealth, like people in these talent agencies and these big time musicians and their record label. What? Their record labels versus people who are like starting off, people who don't, they're going to TikTok and thank God for these kind of apps to even give artists visibility, because in the olden times people will be selling their music, physical copies and all these things, to say the least. Anyway, even the stability that corporate has, it's not even guaranteed. People are getting laid off, this and that. People are not recruiting anymore. People are not retiring. Everybody's just, people have been job searching for about 2 years now, and it's just insane. So regardless of the fact of things, I got a referral. Okay, so what was I? So on top of everything, you still need to be able to do the things. I feel like if there's already a system, you have to play that system. Me, I can complain left and right, but I'm still going to. You see that referral? You see what I'm saying? You still have to contact the people that know the people to put you in those positions, because at the end of the day, connections, who you know, and how well you work is ultimately the way for you to manage yourself. Me personally, I know myself now. If I don't care about something, I'm not going to care about something. I really want to care. I cared so deeply about different things, and my passions range from different sides. I'm someone who's very open, someone who's very honest, someone who's very chill, laid back. However, I haven't really developed a professional lens yet. I have my job and everything going on for me now. So grateful to have it. And I try my best and always aim to do better than I did. There's this kind of approach that you have towards things of like, this is your responsibility. And now as an adult, you're now being told you don't even have to like it as long as you're tolerable, as long as you're doing this and you're doing what is expected of you. But at the same time, you can't come and kill yourself for these jobs. At the same time, you can't overextend yourself for these things. I sleep at 11 to 12, 11 p.m., 12 a.m., like within that range. I don't think I've ever, not ever now, but like on a usual thing with like a normal day, there's no way I'll pass 1 a.m. No way. Unless, I've taken a nap beforehand. So in cases where, oh, they said you want to do overtime and then you're now spending extra hours at work and da, 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 and imagine they're not even paying you for that overtime. Why? So why are you doing it? I don't overextend myself for these things, nor do I expect other people to. However, when you have a passion project, especially like let's say in film, and in the case of my documentary and everything, bringing people together and saying, okay, I need you to help me with this and do that, and I had to explain to people why this is important and why they should come and help me with a film when they're not even going to get paid for it. So that's why me as a person, my own responsibility was give people full context, full reassurance, full information about the thing to let them know exactly what they're doing. Because if there's no money, I'm skeptical to helping, genuinely. So why am I here? So I feel like that's really important when you work around these things. And I don't know, that was like the professional lens. So again, like I said, I haven't really built up a professional thing in the film production that I really said I wanted to do, because it turns out that film, isn't what I want to do. And I'm glad I've had this reassurance and this revelation now, and not just like years down the line when I'm doing this. And I can't even, now that I'm even seeing it now, I don't even see myself being on set. You know, I don't really see myself like doing that. But things can change. But at the same time, like right now, the second, especially with the climate of things going on, I can't see myself doing this and then waiting for like a month or so. I don't even know how much models are paid after. I don't know, 60 or 90 days afterwards. And then waiting for them to not get paid afterwards. So within those days, who was paying your rent? What were you doing? So regardless of all that, that's kind of like my mindset towards all everything of trying to gauge myself. And now that now that I'm about to graduate, I'm now sitting up a bit straighter, now looking left and right, and I'm now seeing, okay, what does this life actually look like? Because that student safety belt will be thrown away, and then I'll now be a person. I don't want to say that word that starts with you, but I'll just be that person. So that's why I want to be booked and busy. But being booked and busy, does it really make any sense if you're working hard on something that's not for you? Do you understand? People chase this whole doctor, lawyer, engineer pipeline, especially in families, especially in like African, Caribbean, Asian families. They they and the thing is, like, if everyone is a doctor, if everyone is an engineer, if everyone is a lawyer, who is going to be the musicians? Who's going to be the museum operators? Who's going to be the like who's going to be the plumber? I'm saying everyone has their own different things, and people have different things that make them happy. There are different sectors, and you can get jobs for anything. When I actually found that you just think about it. There are people who are sitting there making bank, making millions for making children's coloring books. All they have to do is just draw black and white sheets, print it out, sell copies. People are buying it like mad. Millionaire. Do you understand? Like, there's so many things. Even like UGC, like user generated content, and people making videos, sending it to companies. Companies will use those said videos and they'll pay you. So you're just making the video and then you just send it. bro, there's so many things. There's just so many vast things. And the thing is, no one should shame you for wanting money. But I want to understand that, like, in a profession, you can't only chase money. So, back to that doctor, lawyer, engineer conversation, those are things that make money, yes. But those are the extremely tasking jobs that make people depressed. You are spending more than you're spending more than 40 hours a week on in the hospital, patients, this and that, even engaging with human beings like customer service and everything. There's also that customer service aspect of hospitality as well, and care. You have to care for people, care for strangers. My social battery cannot allow me to. I don't. Ah. So imagine doing that every single day, long hours, surgeries, this, that. Also dealing with difficult patients as well. That you say, I don't even need this thing. And you're just doing it for the money. Or more. That, like, because and again, it's a bigger system. The only reason we're working for money is because the economy isn't good enough for us to maintain the things. There are lots of people that would want to do the music, and then lots of them would want to be the, like, entertainment and talent and all these things. But that itself is another highly, heavily saturated thing, because it's not even a matter of talent. There are lots of talented people that are still not getting the spotlight that they deserve because they don't have that connection, they don't have the network, they don't have. And then another thing is aura. A lot of you can be a good dancer, but then are you someone that's meant to be on stage alone? Are you someone that can handle being on stage alone? But we're talking about lots of things. Regardless, the highlights of this thing is like me finding my own identity of like career path, and I know what I want to do, or I have an idea, which is good because after graduating, people really don't know what they want to do. Even though that I have an idea, my own responsibility is talking to the people who are already in that position. Talk to them, say, hey, love your work, let's talk. They'll talk about themselves, ooh, and I'll be like, cool, can you connect me with someone else? So, that kind of thing. Then I'll tell them about my own achievements as well. And what I've also learned is that no matter what you do, as big or small, just talk about it. I went to Korean University last year for a summer program. I'm applying to this other company that has to do with like Korean entertainment or whatever. And then I said, oh, I went to this school. They're like, wow, wow, that's so amazing. Do you understand? So, to say the least, talk about yourself, brag about yourself. But then there's also another thing about like confidence and arrogance. I want you to understand that you're not that important. I hate to tell you, you are just a small speck of dust in a huge desert. I want to tell you that what makes you special really depends on how you treat others as well. And when you say you're the best, you're really not. There's always someone that's better than you, but you have to be responsible for your own self. I feel like it's very unhealthy for me to compare myself with other people, especially other people that have had even more years of experience in something. I can't come and start saying, oh my gosh, I'm just so bad. I can never say that about myself, ever. And I wouldn't want you to as well, you know? So, that's kind of like what this conversation kind of like led into, of like professionalism and how it is to work on something and what it is like having that professional lens. The title of this video was even going to be like, imagine your lawyer breakdancing. Imagine your lawyer breakdancing. And it just proves to show like in different fields, like in like a huge jump of fields. Like let's say let me not actually name drop, but let's just use a world renowned rapper, female rapper. She's doing her own thing, yeah, and then next thing you know, she now becomes a doctor. You now see her in your in your operating room. She's holding the scalpel and everything, and then will you truthfully like acknowledge that person as your doctor? Not really, because they've not really done things to prove that. And even so, they've already built that image, and image is really important. Same as being a lawyer. That's why a lot of lawyers don't have social media, because there's just like, who are they talking to? Like, what are they using it for? And I'm just thinking about lawyers having like spam accounts right now. That's extra funny because they are worried about digital footprints, this and that, the kind of connections that they have, blah blah blah. Especially like criminal lawyers and all these things. Having an online presence means that you can connect with other people that you know, and that's also a bigger conversation of like, let's say you're defending someone in court. This is someone that's accused of murder, and then is now guilty. So the person now goes to jail. They not come back if they do come out. They'll shall come back and then they'll not go and look for you. Social media, they go and stalk you. This way you live now. And luckily for me, my career path does not look like that in any way, shape, or form. I don't see myself as a doctor. I don't really see myself as a lawyer. I can't even take myself that seriously to be in a court of law. I will laugh. I will cry. But regardless, if I do decide to be in whatever field I want to be, I want to make sure that there's a clear difference between who I am, like maybe this person, maybe the person. So maybe this title, maybe a person. And a lot of times I feel like I want to have like a mask of people. That's why I now use like different, like a separate name to emphasize the professional side versus my own side. Kind of like a stage name type thing, different persona, but I do want to be myself at the end of the day. So yeah, professionalism is key. Understanding yourself is key. Working hard is important, but you have to work hard in the right sector, you know? And take it easy on yourself. You don't know all the answers, but reach out, you know? Reach out to people. Seek help when needed. And honestly, like things won't be you know, people change their professions all the time. People say this isn't for me and then they switch. And some people switch earlier, some people switch later. But what's important is that you just don't stay in the path that doesn't make you happy. So now that I'm graduating, now I can look at other things. And now my mind is now towards what I actually want to do, which I'm glad it's in line with film, but it's not production itself. So yeah, I think that's what the conversation was today. I'm going to get ready for the day because in the film production and still being a student, it means that I'm prepping for my final projects. So I will be working on that today, see my friends later on, and I still need to edit some videos from the past week that's still in my gallery and post that. So yeah, hope you have a great day. Love you. Bye.